victim, I think that's actually irresponsible to look at life as like I am the victim, because the fact is that we all have trauma or things that happened to us when we were a child. And so if we consistently just stay still and focus on that, then you won't be productive. So I think that's how my mindset from looking at it as, oh, I'm a victim or anything like that, um, is able to be viewed differently, because I'm like, okay, this happened. Now let's work through it, get over it, and move forward. Because at some point you have to move forward, right? It's like, if a child falls down, at some point the child's going to get up and try to walk again. And it's like you have to figure out a way to push through, get the help, or you have to figure out some mechanism to move forward beyond the circumstances that you were dealt in life.
Right. And challenges, as you said, we always face them. And so let's move on into, how did you take the first step to become that entrepreneur? And did you go to school for that? And then those steps that you had to take, because I know it's a big step.
Yeah.
Basically, like, betting on yourself that this is gonna work, right? So can you speak on that?
Yes. So when I started college, I didn't, well, no, I originally wanted to become an attorney. I wanted to have my own law firm. So the original goal was, um the millennials would know Johnny Cochran.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
was obsessed
goal.
with- Yes, so I was obsessed with him as a child, especially clearly living in California. That's all I heard was Johnny Cochran. And so in my head, I was going to go to law school to be the female Johnny Cochran, and I was going to have this big law firm, and that was going to be my dream. Of course, God always laughs because life was slightly different. Um, and so instead of law school, I ended up learning a lot about the criminal justice system and business simultaneously, and then moving on to doing more so what I call like restorative or preventative justice, and business. And so the the landscape kind of shifted in essence, but I feel like the core of what I've always wanted to do was business. Now, how I ended up in entrepreneurship, I would really say it was really all God's timing, because um, when I launched the nonprofit, it was the transition. It was a big transition in my life. And when I moved on to doing my consulting agency, it was like trying to pull myself out of a very depressive episode. And that was my first time going through depression. And it's something that I never want to go through again. But it was that phase of trying to pull myself up through it and trying something new.
Before we ask the before we ask the next question, can you just kind of list the stuff that you have your hands in? Because one thing I did when we were researching, you had this, that. Like,
She said
can
she's
you?
multi.
Yeah, like for real.
Yeah.
Can you kind of give us a list of
Some of the things that
yes that you're?
accomplished.
Sure, yes. So I refer to myself as a multi hyphenate entrepreneur. Um, because I do believe that God has given me multiple gifts to use for a reason. And so for me, most of them, I wouldn't say all, but most of them has landed in different entrepreneurial ventures. And so I have Speak Loud Incorporated, which is my nonprofit organization. I have Priceless Planning, which is my business consulting agency. Priceless Publishing, which is my book publishing company. And I am
Wow.
working on doing a production company, like a media brand as well, for a Black Men project that will hopefully be coming up soon. And so that's the public things that I have going on.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Wow. Wow. Wow.
like
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
One of the things that really just, because you were talking about like being Christ centered, And there's a lot of people that who are Christians that don't have the space to do certain things because there's no opportunity for them in that sector, because obviously their faith is one of the founding things for them. So if it's not aligning with it, they can't really go into those sections.
Yeah.
So can you speak about the faith aspect in your life and how important it is and how that shapes how you do certain things in terms of your entrepreneurship, businesses, ideas, and things like that?
Yes. So I have learned the very hard way to listen when God talks, listen when he speaks.
Hmm.
So I think I think people always say, "Hey, how do you do all these different things?" And the core of what I do is because I listen to God. So it's like, not because I have multiple entities, it doesn't mean that like everything has a product launching every month. It's a season and a time and place for everything. So in one season, it could be focusing on the nonprofit stuff because maybe, you know, the kids need back to school stuff. Or in another season, it could be focusing on books because there's just a lot of authors to publish. And so I listen to God as far as in like the areas that I'm supposed to be working on, and the and when. So it won't always, basically I listen to God for instructions. And I also do believe in building on biblical principles as well.
Mm.
Can you touch
Yeah.
on that? What did that? Because some people are like, "What biblical principles
Yeah.
are you talking about?" Because there's a lot of people that want to start businesses and
They don't know.
they don't even know where to start, and they're just
Mhm.
doing what they see and they're just following of the trends. But it's like it's not God inspired, and so if it's not something that God has inspired you to do, it's automatically gonna fail. You're